After you watch this video and implement my 32 rules, your cold email should never land in the spam folder again. A huge claim, I know, but I have the proof behind it. If you don't know who I am, my name's Kudus, I'm 26, I live in New York City, and I run a company called Inframail. And it's a B2B SaaS that's done millions in revenue using cold outbound, and we've sent tens of millions of cold emails across hundreds of clients, including ones you've heard of like Seamless.ai, Air.ai, Aftership.com, Conversion.ai, and a ton more companies. After working with thousands of B2B companies and scaling our SaaS, I realized that a lot of B2B companies make very common mistakes to consistently land in the spam folder. This is a huge deal because if no one sees your offer, then nothing really matters. It's like knocking on doors with gloves that mute your knuckles. Your message never gets heard because no one even heard the knock. That's the equivalent of having something to say, sending an email, but landing in the spam folder. I know I got kind of sci-fi there, excuse me for that, but I'm serious. In this video, I'm gonna give you 32 ironclad rules forged from hopping on hundreds of sales calls from our clients, analyzing thousands of email campaigns, and sending tens of millions of cold emails myself across hundreds of clients. Just to give you an idea, by the way, of what we've done, in a span of 30 days, we've sent 237,454 emails and generated 701 positive leads in our pipeline, which booked us demos every single day for our B2B SaaS. This infrastructure is also what clients like Reese use to add 42,000 in MRR in 28 days. Rick closed a $100,000 deal using our cold email infrastructure, and Kirsty closed a $50,000 deal for her paid ads agency QuickFox Labs. And we have tons of case studies like this from our clients. So without further ado, let's get into the sauce of exactly the 32 rules I'm talking about. And if you want these rules, feel free to get them in the Google Doc below. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. So number one, validate your email lead list. Okay, so a lot of people, one mistake that they make, which I notice a lot, is that they'll get a list of 100,000 leads, they'll verify it, and then sometimes they'll hit the lead list like 30 later, 60 days later, 90 days later, but you want to verify the emails that you're about to send to as soon as you're about to send to them. So you don't want to, if you're about to send a campaign out, you want to verify your email list right before you send the campaign out, not do it in January and then in March or April or May, you want to send that same list that you verified months ago, because there could be a lot of invalids, a lot of bounces that you get, which will crush your email deliverability over time. I recommend, Million Verifier, Email List Verify, Listmint, Reune. A lot of people ask me. These are pretty decent ones. Reune is pretty good for as like a very cheap option. And if you also want to verify catch-alls, I recommend Listmint.io. Really, really good platform. Number two, spin your copy as much as you can. You could use my custom GPT here. I linked it so you can literally paste your email. And what spinning your copy actually means is you're going to have variations to your copy. So, spam filters don't catch on to it. So basically what that means, like if I'm going to send an email and it's like, hi, John, I'll do hi, John, hey, John, good morning, John, what's up, John, or whatever, right? So you can have multiple variations. So when the email automatically sends out, it'll keep spinning, certain words or phrases or whatever in the email. And this will in turn improve your email deliverability. Number three, use curiosity-driven subject lines, okay? So you want to use things like checking before assumptions, quick question, which is a very timeless one. Have you seen this yet? Not sure if this will help. These are curiosity-driven subject lines. A lot of people, what they do is they try to bait someone with a line. They'll be like, hey, do you need SEO or something like that? And, if you use a salesy language, it won't work. If you try to bait with lies, meaning like if you've already had a conversation with this person, I've seen crazy stuff on Twitter. People are like, oh, your family died in an accident or some crazy subject line. That's not good business. That's very fucked up. I wouldn't do that, right? And you don't want to use all caps as well, because that will also trigger spam filters potentially, because you're using all caps. That could be seen as a little bit overbearing, I guess you could say, or it just gets flagged because why would you put all caps in the subject line? You're trying to grab someone's attention. It's not really good practice to do that. Number four, address the person in the email with their first name. This is pretty self-explanatory, but I've seen a lot of people surprisingly will just send an email without even saying hi, John. Or, if they have a list, they don't propagate the first name. You have to use the first name, because a lot of people, what they do is they think about sending an email, right? Let's say it's an automation to 2,000 different people. They don't actually still imagine the email being a one-to-one. They're just imagining it like it's an ad, like a one-to-many, or like this video, a one-to-many, where this person, when they receive it, they're not going to know that 1,999 other people are going to see this email, right? You just want to make it feel like it's only been sent to them. The least you could do to do that is use their first name. Number five, don't use email signatures. Now, this is a pretty hot topic, but a lot of people, they want to add their company name, address, phone number, whatever. But the problem is this: if you're sending 10,000 cold emails a day, right, or even 1,000, 2,000 cold emails a day, if you have that static, address or phone number or whatever, spam filters are going to see that as a problem, because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this, this phone number or whatever, this could be a phishing scam, whatever it could be. So if you have something static like that in your email, you're more potentially going to get flagged. And I've seen it time and time again where we remove an email signature, a phone number, and whatever, and just leave it as best with the sender first name, right? Just like best Kudus, right? Or whatever your name is. And it improves email deliverability consistently over time. So Really good, important rule. Number 6, learn how to isolate your email providers, right? Only send to Google if needed, or only send to Outlook when needed. So if you're using a platform like Instantly, Smartly, Plus5, it's very easy to do this, right? Or any sending platform should have this capability. So you can actually isolate the email service provider that you're sending to by simply just filtering for it. So let me show you quickly, like 20 seconds. By the way, if you like this video, like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So we're going to go into a campaign. So for example, I'll just go into this campaign here. We're going to go to edit campaign. This works, basically the same in a lot of sending platforms. So you can see lead ESP here, right? And then if I tag Microsoft, you can see I have 13 in here, right? But let's say other providers, I have another 13 in here. Okay, Google, I have 4,370. So if I want to remove Microsoft, all I have to do is filter for Microsoft. I have all the Microsofts here, right? And then I just filter it out. So I go here, boom, find a way to move it or export it or whatever. I don't know what it is on your platform, but that's how you do it. You're going to want to learn how to do that because there's going to be times where deliverability is going to be really, really hard with certain providers. Like Outlook right now is really tough to deliver to. So you want to omit that from your cold email campaigns because better to Google. And if you know you're not landing in Outlook, you're just going to ruin your cold email deliverability and your domains by sending to something that's most likely not going to get delivered anyway. This can change, so that's how you got to know how to do that. You got to change it as the time goes. So number 7, don't use any links or images in your cold emails. This is a very obvious one, but people do this. Look, in marketing emails, if you own the list, that's okay. But in a cold email, you want to make it plain text, HTML only, with no links. But if they reply, it's okay to send an image or a link or whatever you want, a Loom video. But in the first email, providers are going to see, oh my gosh, this guy is blasting 1,000, 2,000 of the same link to 2,000 different people. This guy's probably having some, phishing scam, malware, whatever it could be, to trick someone into something. Because why would you mass blast cold emails from a technical point of view, right? Doesn't really make sense. So number 8, don't send more than 3 emails in a sequence. Also self-explanatory. So if someone hasn't responded after the first or second email at the most, right, you could push it to the third. They don't really care, right? They obviously don't care about you. So sending a lot of emails in a sequence will give you more chances for a prospect to put you in spam. It's like if you saw a billboard, you're driving, right? And then you see a billboard for like Google, right? And then you drive one more block and then it's another Google billboard. And then you drive another block, it's another Google billboard, right? It's like you don't want to see the Google billboards anymore. So if you had the option to vote and say, okay, remove the Google billboard, and there was a consensus among the drivers that saw that billboard, they're going to remove the Google billboard because they just saw it 3 blocks in a row. But if I have a Google billboard and then 20 blocks, 50 blocks later, I have one more Google billboard, right? And then another 300 blocks later, I have another Google billboard. And then I go put my Google billboard in a different city. That's much better than just having like 100 in the same place, right? That doesn't make sense. People are not going to like you or your company. They're going to think you're annoying, right? So number 9, create only 3 to 5 inboxes per domain. A lot of people ask how many inboxes. It doesn't really matter. It's not a scientific number. You could put 1 inbox per domain. You're actually more safe that way. But the rule of thumb is the less inboxes per domain, the safer you are. We've seen 5 is a pretty good number. That's a pretty easy one. Number 10, remove all of your spam words using Mail Meteor Spam Checker. So you could just put this in Google, but I'll link it down below in the Gamma doc. You could just click it and it looks like this. I'll actually open it up real quick for you. So Mail Meteor, boom, you just type your email in here and then you remove certain words that are shady, urgent or over promising, whatever, because this has like a database built into their platform of all the spam words they think could be triggered by providers. So it's really, really cool. Number 11, use HemingwayApp.com to write your emails at a 4th grade reading level. I love this website because you can literally go on it and just put your email in and it will basically grade your reading level that your email is written in. So right here, you can see grade 8. I would keep this to like a grade 4, right? So like you put your email in here and right now it's like, let's say for example, I want to type in, I love my mama. That's a 4th grade reading level because that's pretty easy for a 4th grader to read. Probably a 1st grader could read that. But if you start using, big words like rocket ship and maneuver, or I don't know, whatever kind of like different words, it's going to increase the reading level. So in sales language, you want to keep it very basic, very easy. Someone just be able to look at it, understand. It should be the most simplest language, simplest words. So yeah, I would use that. Number 12, turn off open tracking on your sending platform. And by the way, for number 11, the caveat to that, by the way, is that just before we go, it depends on your audience. So if your audience is more sophisticated, that's completely fine. If you're, let's say, doing, emails to IT or cybersecurity or M&A, you have to use their specific language, but you also want to dumb it down as far as you can to make it very easy to read. Okay. So number 12, turn off open tracking on your sending platform. You don't want that on Plus5, Instantly, Smartly, whatever sending platform you choose. Very easy to do that. Even on our own sending platform that we have, that we white label and stuff, it is, important to turn off open tracking because if you turn on open rates, it's basically a hidden pixel in your email that is basically like mass sending links, right? So the providers won't know what link it is, but, I wouldn't use it. And I've seen it time and time again not work. Number 13, don't use an unsubscribe link. Again, this is a link, self-explanatory. I know in marketing emails, or, and stuff like that, it's important to use unsubscribe links. That's fair. But in a cold email, the best thing to do is just put PS, reply no if you want me to stop. That is perfect to do because it will give the person, the chance to opt out, right? So you're being respectful towards them, but you're not going to also chalk your email deliverability by including an unsubscribe link, okay? Number 14, to get more replies, use a PS note that says reply no if this isn't relevant to you. I really like this one. So a lot of people kind of, this goes over their head, but if you don't have this, right, you're not going to get any rejections. And now the reason why we need rejections is because we improve our email deliverability this way because we get more replies. So if we don't add this line and we don't get people replying, hey, no, I don't like you, or I don't like this, or they say like really mean things sometimes, right? That's good because that will improve our email deliverability. It will let providers know, oh, this person is sending relevant emails to these prospects, right? Really, really important to do that. Number 15, make sure you warm up. Your warm up to cold email ratio is at a 3-to-1. So what I mean by this is let's go to +5 real quick. So if you're using a sending platform like +5, you can see right here, warm-up emails sent today versus total campaign emails. So you want to make this ratio a 3-to-1. Right now, we're testing for a bunch of different things. So it's a little bit different, but you want to make this 10 campaign emails and you want to make this 20 to 30 warm-up emails. So we can hide the amounts of cold emails that we're sending through the warm-up because warm-up is basically a pool of this AI engagement that's fake engagement. So all of your warm-up emails are going to get opens, but your cold emails might not get opens when you send 10, right? Because we're only looking for like a 2, 3, 4% reply rate on our cold emails. But providers don't like this. They want you to get 50, 80% reply rates on your emails because they just want one-to-one human communication that's relevant, not cold emails. You know what I mean? So number 16, never send more than 50 emails per inbox. A lot of people try to test this and that's fine, but the benchmark is 50 emails per inbox. Number 17, don't ask people to book a call with you as a CTA. A lot of friction there. Look, it worked 4, 5, 6 years ago when people were not sending cold emails out of the ass, but now a bunch of people send cold emails. And it's really, really important to make sure that your CTA is something low friction. Hey, can I send you this 1-page document or 1 page full of case studies or whatever, something relevant, a piece of information they can bite on to continue the conversation with you later down the road. Asking for 15 minutes of someone's time does not make sense. Of course it can work if they really, really want your service, but then again, how could they trust you? What trust and rapport have you built simply by writing a 5, 7, 8 sentence cold email, right? Number 18, test 7 to 10 multiple angles in your copy every single time. This not only helps with deliverability because you're sending a different email every single time, but also it allows you to, get your winners. There's sometimes where one variation will outperform my other cold emails, right, by 3, 4, 5x. And that allows me to just get more positive leads in my campaigns because I've condensed the amount of leads I need to reach to get that positive lead. So really important there. Number 19, make sure the body of your emails are less than 150 words for the most part. Mail Meteor will kind of check the word count for you and it'll give you like how long it will take someone to read the email. Really important. Again, this is nuanced. Some industries require maybe some longer emails, but this is like the 0.001% of industries. But with this one specifically, most offers, you want to make it short, punchy, very simple, okay? Number 20, respond to your leads within 50. And they said replying within 5 minutes makes someone 21 times more likely to close. It's a pretty insane stat, right? Now, what's even more insane is that if you reply within 1 hour, they're 7 times more likely to close. So that's a significant drop. It's a 75% drop. So yeah, really important, to get that done and make sure that you're replying promptly, I should say. So number 21, your email should be outcome ROI based. So if you sell website design, it shouldn't be about design, but rather how your design will increase conversions by 7 to 10% guaranteed because of your whatever design protocol. So a lot of people will try to sell something. The thing is, any buyer is only going to buy something if they'll get an ROI on it, right? So, even when someone buys an electric car, if you could tell them, hey, you save $10,000 a year on gas, it just makes sense to buy an electric car, right? Maybe for some people it doesn't. It depends on what they prioritize. But in business, people want more leads, more revenue. They want more money in their pocket. So if you're not doing that, they don't want what you're selling, right? Rebranding and, whatever. So I'll give you a perfect example. PR, right? Public relations is a really good offer that you can sell in cold email. We have, I have a friend of mine that does that. And a lot of people in the industry succeed with that offer. Now, you can't say, hey, we'll increase your brand image by providing you PR and getting listed on Forbes. Nobody really cares. But now, for example, if a company is having difficulty closing leads because people don't trust them, this is how PR comes in. You can increase your close rate by 20 to 40% by having a PR run. That makes more sense because people will make more money directly because of the PR. They don't inherently care about having an image or having this PR run if it doesn't benefit them just for fame or, to be cool and have this status on Forbes. That doesn't really matter unless it puts more money in their pocket. So we have to reframe our offer. So this is a really important one. Okay. Number 22, don't try to sell weed, products, gambling, crypto, sex-related things because you will land in spam because of the words that you're triggering inside spam filters, okay? Number 23, don't do B2C unless you're extremely skilled. I only know like a couple people that succeed with B2C cold email, and one of them is my friend Ethan. You can check out the video that we did on our channel right here, somewhere on the screen. But he did a really, amazing job basically generating leads for real estate agents, and he does it with cold email, and it's like he gets insane results. But generally, cold emails for B2B, right? Mostly for B2B, so I recommend keeping it that way. Very, very important to do so. So yeah. Number 24, don't use subdomains to send cold email. Main domain, right? Let's say it's xagency.com. You can't use go.xagency.com to send emails, okay? It can be fine for marketing emails if you own the list, but your domain that you're sending from should be a secondary domain, an entirely different domain that contains the keyword of your main domain. So in this case, it would be xagencygo.com or xagencyblue.com or xagencyrevenue or rev.com or whatever, right? Completely different domain, completely different name. Don't use subdomains. It will not work, okay? You try to get this loophole to save money, it won't work. Number 25, don't use your primary domain to send cold emails. I've seen a lot of horror stories. You will risk not being seen by Google on the search bar, right? Losing all of your SEO, credibility, domain reputation. Not good at all, okay? So I don't recommend you do it. Number 26, don't send less than 2,000 cold emails a day if you want to get results. Benchmark metrics, okay, one positive lead for every 700 to 800 emails sent is pretty good. And one booked call for every 2,000 emails sent is pretty good. As benchmarks, they're pretty, they're okay results, right? You'll know that you have something once you've hit those results, and then you can actually test it, make them better, right? To basically send less than 700 or 800 emails to get a positive lead and send less than 2,000 emails to have a booked call, okay? Number 27, understand that a bad offer can ruin your email deliverability and your domains. Your offer matters more than anything. So I recommend having a good offer. And again, it's about having an outcome or ROI based offer. Your offer is your business. So read $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. It's 99 cents on Amazon. It might be free actually. So recommend getting that. Number 28, warm up for 2 weeks before sending and continue to leave warm up on. A lot of people, they think you have to turn warm up off. No, that's not how it goes. You leave warm up on for 2 weeks without sending any cold emails. And then you continue with warm up on while having a small portion of your cold emails sending per, the inbox be cold emails and then the rest being warm up. Okay. So continue to do that. Leave warm up on. Number 29, use the Unibox to reply to your emails. Don't use forwarders to one email because it can cause issues. You're tying all of your domains to one forwarding address. That can get flagged, right? Because that's a point of connection for these email providers. So these are in your sequencer built in, right? Instantly, Smart Lead, +5, the one that we use as well for our Done For You clients. You want to use the Unibox, makes it very easy to do, okay? 30, send your offer to a relevant lead list or else your deliverability will be harmed. So the data that you have when you're scraping your list is your audience, okay? It's very, very important. It's by far the most expensive part. It should be the most expensive part of your cold email infrastructure, okay? If you sell hot dogs to people just walking out of a restaurant and they're already full versus hungry people at a football game, where do you think your hot dog stand would succeed? Okay, it's obviously hungry people at a football game, and you can actually charge 5 times more, right, for that. You saw that, I don't know if you've seen the Coachella prices, they were charging like $30 for a box of chicken or like, $50-$100 for a box of pizzas. Ridiculous prices because people are hungry in this festival. They can't leave. If they leave, they can't come back in, right? So data is your audience. Treat it with respect, okay? Number 31, no unsubscribe headers in your emails as well. So no unsubscribe links, no unsubscribe headers, kind of a double whammy, but whatever. Maybe I made a mistake on this person. The difference with the 31, by the way, is that in +5 or any of these sending platforms, sometimes they'll put the unsubscribe link in the header of the email. It's not actually visible in the cold email that you're sending. So you want to toggle this off. So it's a little bit different than having an actual unsubscribe link in your email versus your header. But I kind of should have had them numbered at least pretty close to each other. Anyways, whatever. Number 32, okay, remove inboxes with a health score of 98% or less, 98% or below, and put them in warm-up until they regain their health back. So if you send emails on lower deliverability than 90 or like 97, 96, whatever, we've seen some deliverability drop off there. Technically it's not the worst thing in the world, right? You can get high volume cold email out at that warm-up score, but we want to ideally have everything in the high 90s, okay? Really, really important. If things are falling off, especially like 91, 92, 88, you want to put them in warm-up. Don't touch them until they regain their health score back, which they will. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, comment below what you want to see next, and I'll see you guys. Peace.